G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. For those that don't know me, my name's Kerry Corney, a wood turner based in Brisbane, Australia. So what I have here is quite a large piece of Silky oak. It's a softwood here in Australia. I've been told it looks like London plane. I've never turned London plane before, but it has that fish scale effect on the grain. I've got a few issues already starting off. The best one of them all is that I'm missing a big chunk of the tenon. I've got some wasps' nests just in the back here. I've also got this little knot on the side, so we might have to do some super gluing. 16 inches one way, or 410 mil. The height of it is 6.5 inches or 170 mil. How we're going to be mounting this bowl is with the Lucas remounting plate. I'll link a video in the description below for anyone that wants to make one of these. They're quite easy to make, and having a few different sizes would be good, because I think we're going to run into an issue when we go to put this big beautiful bowl up against it. So the secret is, well, there's no secret really, is to run the end grain in the gap and the side grain on the outer sides. Now, I'm not an octopus, as you might all be aware. Yeah, you can see that pretty significant damage to the tailstock, to the tenon there on the back, with it just held there just gently. And what I'm going to do is just rotate this big boy around here, put my thumb up against the tool rest there, and just make sure that is, I've absolutely jagged that. Make sure we're not going to lose too much material, that it's out of true too much. So 16mm gouge, first thing we need to do is flatten off the bottom here. This might turn out to be a bit of a failure. Raise our tool rest up. This isn't going to be the finished tenon here, because I've still got to remove all that weight on the outside. I just want to mark it up here. Just to see where it would be. Oop. Whoa, my pencil, have a look at that. Hey? Everything is breaking. It's good times. It's just a good rule of thumb for the foot, the overall foot size. 400 mil, because we'll take a little bit off the side and all that, divided by 3 is 133 mil. We'll just say 130 mil. So divide that by 2. So it's 66 mil will be the overall foot. So we're already in around here somewhere. If we come back here and then start our cut and design it so that will be obviously eventually taken away, but design it so that will be the foot where our chuck will be, I think that will look improportionally really, really nice. But obviously we've got a lot of weight out here to remove, so we'll do that. Just want to take this corner off. Take that corner off there now, and then I'm going to come back with a bit of a pull. Pull and a push cut combined. Righto. Now that knot was here, so that's the knot there, so we'll just have to keep an eye out on that. And now we're going to really identify where the foot will be. Still got a fair bit of, I just want to add a little bit of detail in there. Come in there, take that cut back. Yeah, we're still swinging unevenly, so let's do another cut this way. I'm just going to come in here, pull away, take a bit more weight out, drop my handle down, swing my right hand up, and I need to move my tool rest. I was going to go into a push cut there, but and I'm going to leave a band up the top. Just going to tidy this little band up here. Get rid of some of these lines, eh? Hear a bit of a knot there. Just going to pull that. These are all the complications. Now we've got majority of that weight removed on the outer edge, we can then sort out this this foot down here, and I'll come back and address this knot up here. There's a bit going on, but that's why we love this beautiful craft. It's never straightforward, and there's a million and one ways to do things. So I'm just going to drop the gouge down there a little bit. A little bit like that. Probably a bit too much speed. I'm getting a bit of vibration. And that'll be our foot. So when we go to take it off, so yeah, we can't have that, eh? Oh man. Gonna have to clean that up, but just that little bit. And I need to rub that line out now. When we go to remove the tenon with the vacuum chuck, what we'll do is just form up the foot out of this guy. I think that's that'll be our option. And if it's still really bad on the way down, we can leave that. So that'll be our insurance out here. So that's the only way. Nice, clean, little crispy bit just in here. Just want to tidy this little bit up. And when I'm turning, I'm always thinking, what would be the easiest way to clean it? So something you can get a towel in, you know. Now, but I am just going to remark that. I'm just going to go with the shark jaws. So we'll be able to definitely get a tenon out of this. So we'll just work that down now. The joys of it all, isn't it? Leave a bit. One-inch skew now, just to get that nice sort of dovetaily look. I think we just found our answer though. So I was just having a break and having some lunch, and you can probably hear we are getting a thunderstorm, well, soon to be. So I want to get this filled, but change of plan. I remember my father-in-law used to use a lot of this for his earlier pieces, this Timbermate stuff, not sponsored, just, but I remember I had a heap, so I thought I'll just give this a go. It's like a putty, you'll see it there, like a putty there, and I thought, what a great opportunity to just try and fill it with this stuff. So let's scoop a bit out, and if it starts raining, I'll just have to pause the video because the sound of the rain on the tin roof doesn't sound all that appealing. So I probably got way too much in there, but you know, that's the motto of Kez. And now I've got that little hole there that I want to stuff a bit in as well. So I'll just be taking it easy over the top of the black putty that I put in to ensure I don't just rip it straight back out, but it feels quite firm, and the sanding process is quite straightforward. I've made several videos on my sanding process that I'll link in the description below, but I'm starting with 180 grit and then folding the paper in half and getting right in between the different little spots to ensure I don't roll that edge over of those areas of detail that I want to keep in, especially around the foot and up around that large sort of bead up the top. I won't be able to properly put a finish on this because I want to make sure that putty dries back really nicely. So I'm thinking I might make another video on that. So it just depends on how I go. But I'll hopefully try and finish it off with a 240 grit, and then we'll see how we go from there, and then flip it over and start on the inside. I'll just take this off, and then we can get stuck into turning the inside. Oh. People must, you guys just must have a good giggle. So the shark jaw is the one thing that you have to be careful about, I guess, that I have to be careful about, is because the bowl will be sticking out a fair way from the chuck, it could cause a fair bit of vibration. So I just have to keep an eye on it because you're working further away from your spindle. Just going to give the bed a quick spray with this stuff here. It's just silicone spray, lubricant. Just going to hold it there for a sec. Let's, oh, you know what I bet I've done? Here we go. Oh, Keza. Get your gear in one sock, Kez. Get your gear in one sock. Righto. Just with the 16mm. Ooh. Just taking it easy. Get the GL5, come back through. Swing my handle away from me. And then I want to come into that space there so it makes it rounded. See if we got that a little bit more on that little chip, but I want it to be sort of semi-crisp. To make sure we're not going to turn all the way, we're going to turn it off. So got just a bit of dowel in, drilled a hole to the same, just a bit smaller than the dowel, so I can use this as my sort of depth gauge. Hold that there, then I come back here with a ruler on the back on our foot of where we think the foot will be. Come to here, and we've got about, I'm going to say about 15mm in the bottom there. So that's good. But just going to have to do light cuts, so I'm just going to give it a bit of support. First thing I want to do is clean up this edge here and then dip it in, undercut rim, and then make our way down to the bottom. Going to carry on. Going to try and pick up the speed. We're running about 1,000 RPMs now. Yep, GL5. A little bit more undercut again. So I come in, my thumb is there, so it doesn't, this is what I do. And you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. But I put my thumb there, come into the cut, open the flute, and then I put a bit of pressure down on that flute there. Getting a fair bit of a knock going on. Just going to pull up there and come back. What I think's going on is, yeah, that crack there. It's always the way when you try and do another little nice pass, and in your mind you know what you need to do, but when you hear that, that's before I even try and engage that cut. Just going to slow it right down and just take it real easy. And I know that sounds terrible, but I'm cutting it back so it's in line. So before it was bouncing on that knot, and now it's not. Running at 760 RPMs. Come back, pick that line up. So now I need to cut the bottom with the bottom bowl gouge. I'm happy with the sides. I just need to try and get my banjo in there, and I can't get it in close enough because I've got the banjo touching the bowl there. Even if I angle the tool rest, it's hitting the tool rest there. So my father-in-law made these two little homemade rests. This one here is really good for doing hollow forms and getting nice and deep into different things. And this is another cool option. So it's a bit of the same steel as what the tool rest is made out of on a nice hefty plate. So in his memory, I'm going to use one of these actually. Let's do that. It's going to give that a light spray. And that allows you to get in there, plenty of support on the tool, like that. Pretty cool. All right, so let's just get started with the 16mm. We'll just take a bit of this excess off here. And that's looking really nice. You can see that sweep now coming through. Bottom bowl gouge. Hey, you bugger. Just running a bit too high. I just couldn't quite get onto that. This little stub here. Just slowing down as I come towards that bottom there. That sounded really ugly. Why are you sounding ugly for? Hey? Right. See how that looks now. Got a few little marks here on the side, but I'm not too stressed about that. Righty, for those that missed that in that start of the sanding, my lathe, the Vicmark VL240, has an adjustable headstock. So I simply just rotated the headstock around, and if you are wondering what the angle it can go on is at a 90 degrees, so you can actually turn out here. There is an outboard tool rest that comes and sits out here, so I have a few questions about people wanting to know whether I do use this feature when turning bowls, and the answer is what you're looking at now. Of course I do. Just going to lather this right up now. Put a fair bit on there. That black spot looks really good now. All this rim up. And you might be able to see now where that fish scale effect comes from, where I think it looks like fish scales. Just a stunner of a bowl. I am just going to quickly put some on the outside, but I'm not going to put a really thick layer on. Get it all coated first. Just a light coat on the outside, and then I'll wet sand them separately. And I'll bring you over after and show you that wood bog that I used. So I never used to wear two gloves, and I don't know why I was wearing two gloves, but the way I sort of try and do it is I keep one hand as my clean hand, so the one without the glove, and the dirty hand with the other hand, and that way I can touch like bits and pieces around the lathe without getting that, without putting the oil all over the speed control and all that sort of stuff. So clean hand, dirty hand. .600 grit. .600 grit. That's feeling nice and lubricated on the back there, so I'm not going to keep adding oil to it. I'll just keep going here. All right, so that's the first section here that we filled, and you can see the way that black just blends in and just looks part of the bowl. And then we had that little knot or the little branch that came out just there. Just looks neat the way this comes through here. This grain pattern comes through, and then that little knot there that just blends in really nice. I'll show you the inside, and you can see the way that just blends in. I think it looks part of the timber. So you got black patterns running through it all the way through here. That other little split in there that wasn't actually part of that tree or the branch that came out. That was a different bit there as well. Just a really sort of tricky grain pattern bowl to turn. You get those every now and then, but I'm really happy with this bead up the top here with the way that sort of rim just rolls up nicely like that. Looks a bit like a dough bowl. Super stoked with it, the way the finish turned out on it. That That fish scale pattern just looks absolutely stunning. I am going to save you the pain, and I'm going to turn the tenon off in this video just here using the vacuum pump. I'll see you all there. Talk to you directly. Cheers. Right.